Howdy folks, Max Caveman here, bringing you to a recap of the Not For Trade series. If you are watching this video and haven't watched any of the videos in this series, I do recommend watching that, but if you want to watch this first, so be it. Not For Trade was a series where I open up various TCG products, trying to build the most expensive folder that I could as if I was a kid building up their first collection. Now, I did end up finishing the series early. Going into this series, I wanted to fill the folder. The folder was the big thing that I wanted to do. I was heavily inspired by Rav's cards with the Profit or Forfeit series that they have. So I thought I could do that quite simply. It was not simple at all. All in all, Not For Trade had 62 episodes, including specials. I believe there was 5 or 6 specials. I originally thought maybe 40 episodes total going into it. I think the big reason why the series did last as long as it did, even though I'd still ended it early, was because of the entry condition for a card getting into the folder. I wanted it to actually have value. A lot of the times, like, kids build stuff and they go, "Oh look, I got a foiled card. I'll put that in there." It does work, it doesn't. So I did come up with the idea of making a $2 $2 Australian limit to get into the folder. Now, ultimately, this was a bad decision, as I found out as things were going on. There were a lot of episodes where nothing was getting into the folder. That made me realize that the $2 entry was a bit too high. Now, yes, I could have changed that, lowered it to like maybe $1, $1.50. Who knows? I probably should have done that, but I did think I wanted to keep a certain threshold of value to each card at the time of recording the videos. So I just have a couple of stats sitting next to me that I'm just double checking. A big thing that I did want to do was keep track of what the values were at the time of opening, even though I do have an app which I was always getting the current value of the folder, seeing the difference between what the folder is at now and what it could have been if all of the stuff was pulled at once is a bit of a surprise. So ultimately, I did put about $4,000 into the series. Oh my god, that's a lot more than I was expecting. That is not the actual value. Well, I've got a paid value of $3,973.69, which is actually not the full value. There is one video that I don't have a proper value for because I couldn't accurately give an answer to how much I put into that video. And that was the most recent Pokemon Day special where I did a big bulk opening. That one I just was buying product. I had ATBs from my case that I got for Paldean Fates. I got stuff from a vending machine, entries from events, so then the price was just out there. So realistically, I did spend like $4,500 on the series. Now, the folder value at time of opening, so this is what each of the cards entered the folder at. I do believe there are a couple of cards that aren't in this list, and that's because they don't have proper ways to track their prices, and those are price back cards. But the fold value that I have is $2,542.07, which is insane. That's an expensive folder as is, and none of the episodes were really too much for a kid to get a hold of that product. Yes, like the special stuff, the Pokemon Day special definitely was one of the more difficult ones. But realistically, you could buy that over a course of however long it took me to get, and it wouldn't be too much. None of the individual products were expensive, so realistically, you're getting like 75% worth of your. You could get up to 75% of the products, but that was the folder value at the time of opening. Now, the current folder value I grabbed just before starting this recording was at $1,710.75. That is a loss of $831.32. That's understandable. Prices fluctuate dramatically, and depending on how old a card is, they tend to, as certain cards were released, I did see them go up slightly. Then they usually hit a downward spiral, and depending on what type of card they were, then they might plateau for a little bit and then start slowly climbing back up. A lot of the loss, however, in this series was down to timing of my recordings. At a certain point, I did realize this mistake and tried to avoid it, and that was pre-release. So before, I was using the collector app that I've been using for a while now. I was using TCG Player to get prices and stuff, and they get prices early, so we can sort of gauge which way cards are going. Because some sellers can do pre-order sales and stuff, so things were going up earlier than they should have, and so they had higher values and then immediately dropped 80% of their value upon release of the set proper. Big thing was a lot of the One Piece cards did lose their value tremendously. Like one of the first openings I did I got a winner promo that lost its value tremendously due to the fact that that promo was more available as time went on. And a big factor in a lot of the loss of profit was Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Now, I did stop opening Yu-Gi-Oh cards after a certain point, and it was a good thing. I know I personally was trying to get into Yu-Gi-Oh, so I was trying to get a certain card. I didn't really want to buy it as a single. I wanted to pull it because, I thought it was going to be easy. It didn't. I opened boxes of cards trying to get this one card, and that was the Baron de Fleur. But the way Yu-Gi-Oh operates with reprints means that Baron de Fleur card that I originally had lost all of its value. It was sitting at like $150 at one stage, and now it's not worth much at all because it got a reprint, and then the card did just get recently banned. So it's not worth as much realistically because you can't play it. Some people will want it for when it gets unbanned, but who knows? So yeah, that's a bit of the loss just in the fold value. But I do have a loss for the amount that I spent on the series, and I end up with a total loss of $1,431.62. That is insane to think. Yeah, because a lot of that would have been coming from like a lot of the Obsidian Flames openings, just not getting any results, and just there's a lot of low rarity stuff that I thought could make it into the folder, but yeah, definitely a bit of issues there. Now I did end up with 212 cards. I think it's more like 217. I think I can't remember. I didn't feel like it was necessary at this point to work out how many cards it was without or including the promos, but I believe it's 360 slot folder. So I did get quite a way through it. It took quite a while from start to now to finish off this series. But yeah, just a lot of sort of disappointment, just like going through. It's just like, well, that's another nothing. Yeah, I think the main thing that I can take away from this is this isn't the sort of series that I want to be doing much. I didn't get enough satisfaction out of recording the series. I will work on another long form series in the future. I just have to find out what it is that I want to be recording. Because like I've had Not for Trade, the Chase and Alt Hunter series that I was working on. Just sort of like some of the goals that I set myself are just a bit too much. I just feel like. So ultimately, I'm finishing this series early, so that's that. Hopefully for a bit I'll just rely on some YouTube shorts. Still in the form of like I'm hunting for certain cards, but I'll be mainly hunting for just finishing my collections. I just kind of have to work on that for a bit and see how things go. I feel like there was something else I was supposed to mention that I didn't write down, but I think I'll have to leave it at that. Thank you again for watching this series. I hope people enjoyed it. I hope people do come back in the future. But until then, have a good one, folks. See ya.